Welcome back everyone, this is Anne from Shades of Color and Light, and we're going to continue on with our fall coloring and do a piece on Happy Thanksgiving. We'll talk a little bit about Thanksgiving as we go. I've got some fun facts pulled up on the computer next to me, and we will see where we go with this Thanksgiving talk here. This again, I'm using a coloring book by Teresa Goodridge, Coloring Haven, Creative Designs. And I'll put the coloring book in the comments in just a little bit here. I tell you, we had kind of a strange occurrence here. We had a very nice fall going, and then all of a sudden we got hit with, I'm going to pull out a couple of colors for my cardinal. We got hit with some very early snow, and I was very into fall, and then all of a sudden that snow hit, and it's just really funny how everything turned with the cold and the snow. All my thoughts and everything kind of turned a little bit towards winter and Christmas. And I know I hate to do that because it seems like the season of fall is just so short. This may not be a perfect looking cardinal because I'm going to do something, give a little bit of a different color there. I've got some great tips for you today, as well as when we're going to talk about Thanksgiving. But one of the things that I love about this YouTube community is the ability to communicate with others elsewhere in the world about different things. And somehow or another, as I was watching videos, I came across a channel called CherTheFire, and I'll put this in the description too so you can find her. Her name is Cher Kaufman, and she is an artist who has some coloring books, but she's got a lot of how-to videos, very interesting videos. And one that I was watching, I commented on, really, I don't know about you, but I really, never expect the owner of the YouTube channel to respond. But she did, and I'll tell you about that in just a second here. I want to get a little bit of orange underneath this guy's right around in here, and then I'm going to color that with red. I'll color for that a little bit with the color I just used. And I learned some very, very interesting things from Cher and in her video, and I'm going to employ those as I color today. So one of the things she was talking about in her video, and I'm not going to be able to show you with this type of pencil, she was going over the different types of colored pencils, and I can do it right here, show you an example. She was talking about, okay, this kind, the tip, the bottom is covered and you can't see inside, but this side you can see the actual core of the pencil in there. And as Cher, she started to explain that this color ring should be in the exact center of that pencil, and if it's not, you'll notice when you start sharpening that pencil that because it's not perfectly in the center, that it's gonna break on you easier, and when it sharpens, that will be this like thin side over here. This will be the weak side in this pencil. And when she said that, it was kind of like light bulbs just went off in my head, because I have several colors in my other set of pencils that just I can't even hardly color with them anymore because they break on me constantly, and they're very frustrating to use. I feel like there's something underneath that. I'm just gonna lift this up real quick. I have some pencil right. Oh my! I didn't even know I had leaves. I wondered. I thought I had more leaves here than what I had saw originally. So I hope that didn't. Let me check the. I think that's okay. Okay, that explains why there was that little kind of line underneath there. But we're gonna use it to our advantage. I can't remember if this was the color I was using now or not. I feel like it was a little bit more orange, but I think so. This was the original pencil I used. Alright, well there's always snafus when you color, and you just gotta kind of roll with them. But so anyway, so as I was listening to Cher talk about that, it's just like I said, light bulbs start going off, and I realized that's why on my other pencils there's just a couple of them that I can't hardly get to sharpen, and when I use them, they're very frustrating because I press down on them and they kind of just crack off. But now that I know that with those particular pencils, it just makes it easier now to use them knowing that. I'm just giving some little bit of long extra strokes here just to give his feathers, just give a little bit of texture here. And then I want to darken just a little bit down and through here. Okay, so lightly go over this. So I thought that was a great tip, to look at the bottoms of the pencils and just check and see how they were made. In this current set, there's no way for me to do that, but I suppose if there was one that really broke frequently, I would just know that it wouldn't have been poured right inside. She responded to me. I told her I tend to press down really hard, when I'm coloring, like really hard strokes. And she kind of mentioned holding your pencil a little bit higher up, which I noticed I just did that without even thinking about it, holding it a little bit higher instead of gripping it down here and pressing really hard like you would if you were writing something. When you're coloring, grip it a little bit higher up. And first when she said that, I thought, well, that is going to be uncomfortable, but I will tell you, it's really not. It's really not uncomfortable. And I'm going to color a little bit across the green here of what I'd already colored. There. Now I think I'm going to add a little bit of a deeper red. Just a little bit. Let's see if I can get a soft edge on this. I'm going to go over this. Just add another layer of color. Her YouTube channel is called CherTheFire. And if you want to check that out, she's got lots of tips on gel pens. Let's give him kind of a darker red breast here. And working with gel pens and what you can expect and so forth. Just got a lot on there, so I haven't even gotten close to being able to see all I want to on her. channel. All right, I think he's kind of the showpiece there. Everything else is going to have to work around that bird. And since this is fall, let's see here. I've got a little scrap of paper, which I recommend to all of you. That is black. Don't want that one. Let me see here. Okay, let's see how this one differs. Okay, that one's a true brown. Let's see here. So a color I like, this purple. I was thinking about making the berries a little bit purple. I'm looking for a certain, when I see the brown, I will know that it is the one I am looking for. That's a little more red. I kind of had something earlier picked out and I put it inside here. It's really brown. Though I am going to want that one in a second. Let's check this one. Gray. Want that guy. I think that's that one. There's a lot of browns in this particular set here. Alright, I'll tell you what, I think I'm gonna test this one. Dark, that's blue. I might use that for something. That's a really pretty color. Try this one here. And that's pretty also. I'm trying to find a berry, pretty berry color. I might go with this one and then add another little color inside it, alright? I think I'm going to do all of these little berries the same so I have some continuity throughout this. And what I'm going to do is, okay, I'm going to test that out and then I'm going to come in what I'm going to do then. For these berries, I'm going to do the outside, this color, and then I will come through and color the inside with this one. Let's see if this burns. I think I'm going to take all these little kind of leaves or whatever they are. I'm going to color these all with this gold. So a couple of the interesting facts about Thanksgiving is that it really didn't happen the very first November that the Pilgrims were here. That first year and through the winter must have been incredibly dangerous and difficult for them to go through. They were probably very ill prepared for the winter that was coming. And by the accounts that I've read and that we pretty much all know, is that many of them died that first winter. They didn't have a good way of preventing sickness that would tear through the camp. They didn't have proper shelter. And they probably were running out of food. And so as the information that I have here came through was that the next year the chief from the Indian tribe, I'm sure I'm not going to be able to pronounce this. The village was called Patuxet. Patuxet, I'm not sure if that's right. But he came and his name was Tisquantum, but the English called him Squanto. So that's where that word Squanto comes from, that we've probably seen in old Indian movies and so forth. He came and he showed them how to plant some of the more traditional things that you find here growing in America, as opposed to some of the things that they were used to growing in Europe. So he showed them the squashes, corn, different crops like that, which then they planted. And then it was the following fall, the following harvest, where we get the traditional Thanksgiving story of the Indians with the Pilgrims. And according to this article here, it's not really known if the chief came to propose a treaty, but they did bring food. The article that I read said that they brought 6 deer, and there would have been quail and duck, and there was something mysteriously missing, which was the turkey. I don't believe that came into being, that tradition, until later. But at that point, of course, we weren't a nation, and so it wasn't a national holiday. Okay, there may be a little, let me see, I think I got most of those. And then I'm going to come through with a darker brown. Yep, that one, I use that one there. It's almost like a little walnut. I'm just going to kind of add a little bit of shadings onto those. Down maybe a couple of different colors to get some shading in. So something else that was interesting that Cher Kaufman showed was to turn your pencil as you're coloring. And that way you'll color more evenly, and your pencil will color more evenly also. And you won't get spots on it that will need sharpened, let's just say before the others. So really pretty color. I think originally I was going to color over this, but I think I'm going to leave one of these just like that. Okay, so another interesting fact about our Thanksgiving is that during the American Revolution era, we actually had 8 different days of Thanksgiving. And these were special days of thanks for being saved from dangers. Color. And then in 1789, President George Washington issued a proclamation naming November 26th a National Day of Thanksgiving. Then according to the article, some states actually had special days of Thanksgiving. There wasn't one continual Thanksgiving Day as we know it now. So even though George Washington proclaimed that day, it was not an annual occurrence, it was for that year. And so after that, different states had their own versions of a Thanksgiving. Color is so pretty. So what I'm going to do is, I like to do things in 3. So I've got 1, 2, and then I think this little one here that's tucked right in there, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So it was President Abe Lincoln in 1863 who declared Thanksgiving a national holiday. And in 1855, Virginia was the first state to adopt the custom. Now, to get our modern day dates and so forth, found this kind of interesting, that it was Franklin D. Roosevelt who set Thanksgiving a week earlier to help businesses by lengthening the shopping period before Christmas. And so after this, in 1941, Congress ruled it was the fourth Thursday of November would be a legal holiday, and that's when we would celebrate Thanksgiving. So I kind of find that even a while back, the date was kind of chosen to help out Christmas. I find that very interesting. So from right there, what I'm going to do is let's use this. Let's see what it is first. Let's check this color out here. I think that was the color I was looking for earlier. I'm going to hold on to that pencil over here, and I'm going to pick up this brown, and I'm going to use that as these gourds stem. Here for the other stems. Now let's go for an orange gourd. So let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go for, what I'm going to do is I'll come back to that orange. I'm going to lay a foundation of this color.